Having such a high-performance electric test vehicle as the Tesla Model S, we were of course excited to find out how the tires will deal with the different technical conditions that such car brings about compared to normal cars. There is the curb weight of over 2.3 tons and thus the high individual load for each tire. Then there is the enormous torque of the electric motor of almost 1,000 Newton meters, and also the fact that the tire rolling sound is the predominant source of interior noise at low speeds, be it at constant driving or accelerating. The performance criteria for a TÜV Süd certification of a tire do not differ whether it is a designated tire for EVs or just a standard tire for every kind of passenger car. Safety is our paramount focus. That means we tested all road performance criteria such as braking and handling, both on wet and dry, as well as resistance to aquaplaning. Besides that, we also look at the environmental characteristics, which are the rolling resistance as an indicator for fuel or electric power economy, as well as the rolling noise emissions. In addition, we have also run an advanced load and high-speed test under aggravating conditions to verify the operational safety. Safety is still the most important criterion for any vehicle in public traffic, independent from its drive concept. But of course, the aspect of range, which is linked to the rolling resistance, and the rolling noise inside the cabin are of particular interest for the driver of an EV. And also, handling the power and torque of an EV adequately is an important job for the tire. It should be able to transfer drive power and forces adequately and without too much wear, ideally in all situations. We probably have had not enough designated EV tires in tests so far to be able to make a general statement on this, but the results of those samples that we have tested so far in comparison to standard tires indicate that low rolling resistance with regard to the electrical range and silent, pleasant rolling sound to keep the cabin noise low seem to be the targets of the predominantly premium manufacturers of custom-designed EV tires. Considering that the test did not distinguish between designated EV tires and standard UHP tires, it was a pleasant surprise to see that there was hardly any significant difference in the safety-relevant properties, at least not to the disadvantage of the EV tire. Ventus iON S was not the best in each criterion, yet it was in some, but it was absolutely able to cope with the performance of the UHP premium competitors, who served as a benchmark in all criteria. Our test results showed very short braking distances, both on wet and dry, and also a very low rolling resistance. This seems to prove where the focus in the development of this tire was, namely no compromises on the safety performance and a significant contribution to making use of the stored electrical energy to the most possible extent. It is a tricky task for the tire designers not to trade off the good wet grip for low rolling resistance, but it can be accomplished with the right know-how and the materials used. The designated UHP tires in the test presented, of course, a hard-to-come-by benchmark, but in summary, the handling performance of the Ventus iON S was reasonably safe and balanced. It did not give the impression that cornering grip and drivability were compromised in any way. Our pause-by noise test showed that Ventus iON S was the most silent among the standard non-EV UHP premium competitors, and it was on the same low noise level as a designated acoustic OE tire that was voluntarily included as a low noise benchmark. An actual range test, analog to a fuel consumption test on an internal combustion engine car, and not just the rolling resistance, would surely be interesting to conduct to validate the effects of low rolling resistance on the practical range. And the wear behavior, that means the expected service life of the tire, is also something that will become more and more of particular interest for the end consumers. For one, due to economic reasons, as cost versus lifetime, and also with regard to environmental issues, looking at the amount of rubber particles that are emitted into the environment during a tire's life. Generally, tires on electric vehicles have to fulfill the same job as on a standard vehicle. In particular, the manufacturers of OE tires for electric vehicles seem to promote the development of this kind of tires, naturally on behalf of the relevant car manufacturers. Considering the fact that the tire is able to influence the range on one hand and the comfort sensation by lowering the cabin noise on the other hand, there is surely a demand for tires that are optimized for the use on EVs. Up to now, there is of course no definition what an EV tire is, so basically any tire with low rolling resistance and the ability to bear high loads and also with silent rolling noise can be considered a tire that is particularly suitable for EVs.
Electrified. 한국타이어.